good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, we have a very important night for you all tonight. My name is Hector Dominguez. I'm here on behalf of the Cook County Assessor's Office. Usually, these things are very straightforward, but as you all know, exemption applications have been sent out, and we are going to cover a lot of that information today. So, some housekeeping rules. I see that we already have people commenting in beautiful. I love it, especially the YouTube comments. Those are worth 20 points, right? So, if you have a question, go ahead and type it out in the comment section. If you're like me and you need to get this information out, because you have ADHD. Listen, I get it. Squirrel, right? Go ahead and put that comment down. That way we can get to it when we do the Q&A portion. That's my favorite part of the night, right? We have a lot to cover today. I want to jump right into it. So let us begin. I'm going to share our presentation, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. We're here to talk about the 2023 exemption applications, but we're in 2024, right? So a couple of things. The gentleman you see on your screen right now, that is the Cook County Assessor, Fritz Kagi. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give him a round of applause for doing everything he can to make sure these things are possible. Now, let's jump into what we're here for. So the responsibilities of the assessor's office, there are a lot. There are a ton. But let me give you some specifics, right? So it is our responsibility to put value on 1.9 million different properties. That's almost 2 million different properties. How do we value these properties? How do we put a number on these properties? Where do we get this information from? We use a mass appraisal system, ladies and gentlemen. We don't get bored and just pick random numbers out of a hat. That is not how this system works. Our office is also responsible for the exemptions, the discounts, which is what we're going to be talking about today. We're also responsible for appeals, which we are not going to really talk about today. Here's what we're not responsible for. We're not responsible for your tax bill. We're not responsible for collecting your tax bill money. We are not responsible for the tax levies or the taxing districts in your area. I know you might be saying, what the heck does all this even mean? We're going to cover all that, I promise. So let us begin. So very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, here is a list of all of our exemptions. There are a total of 8. We're going to cover them right now. Wish I had like a da-na-na, da-na-na, or like important bulletin sound or something. But the first one, the homeowner exemption. This is very simple. As long as you owned and occupied your property January 1 of 2023 and you're not receiving any discounts anywhere else in the United States of America, you can qualify for this exemption. It's very, very simple. One anecdote, if you will. If your property is newly constructed, you can still apply for this exemption if you did not own and occupy it January 1 of 2023, because you could not own and occupy it January 1 of 2023. And this exemption is automatically renewed going forward. So once you apply for it on time, you don't have to worry about it again. Next exemption we're going to talk about is, my computer's frozen. Nope. The senior citizen exemption. This is for anyone who was born in 1958 or before, and unlike the homeowner exemption, which you have to own and occupy that property January 1 of 2023, you don't need to do that for the senior citizen exemption. You can own it any day in 2023 and still receive the discount. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Come a little closer. A little bit closer. It's automatically renewed going forward as well. So as of right now, we have the homeowner and the senior citizen exemption. Both of those are automatically renewed going forward as long as you apply for them on time. Let's go ahead and go to the next exemption. The low income senior citizen assessment freeze. Going forward, I'm going to refer to it as the senior freeze just to keep it simple, a lot less talking. So in order to qualify for the senior freeze, you must have been born in 1958 or before. You cannot make more than $65,000 as a total household income for the 2022 income year. So if you're applying this year, right now, if you're applying right now, we're considering the income of 2022. Also, you must have owned and occupied that property for 2 consecutive January 1s. So that's January 1, 2022 and January 1, 2023. It's kind of crazy. Lastly, this is not, well, not lastly, but very importantly, this is not automatically renewed because it is income based. Want to make sure that's very clear. Your income can change every single year. You can hit the lottery, you can get married, you can get divorced, you can cash in some, I don't know what you can do, but you can change your income every single year. That's why this must be applied for annually. If you are part of the Age, Blind, and Disabled program, the SNAP program, the LIHEAP program, the Benefit Access program, or the Senior Citizen Real Estate Tax Deferral program, you do not need to give us your income information because applying and being a part of these programs automatically enroll you. That's not true. Automatically mean you meet the criteria for the senior freeze. So please, if you are part of these programs, we just need proof that you are. So give us a copy of the award letter or the decision letter, whatever they have, and then we can help you with that. Let's see what else we have here today, ladies and gentlemen, if my computer would just go. Persons with disability exemption. This is a little bit different this year. So, you know, exemption update, brand new information. So, oh, I see we got a lot of comments coming in. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's see what's happening though. So this exemption is automatically renewed going forward. Automatically renewed going forward. But the change that I want to like kind of draw your attention to is the P-Tax 343A form. So previously, you can only give that to your physician. They would fill it out on your behalf because our office has zero authority to tell you you're disabled or not. And then you'll give that back to us and we would go ahead and process your application. Now, you can give this application, the P-Tax 343 form that goes with your disabled exemption application, to your physician and your optometrist. So shout out to Grandma Paula because she's legally blind and now she can take advantage of this. Let's go to the next slide, please. Let's see. All right, my computer's just acting up, guys. I apologize. And I am frozen, but not in a good way. I am frozen. Internet is not good. I am frozen. Here we go. The eligibility for the person with disability exemption are as followed. You must have been or become disabled in 2023. You must own and occupy that property as of January 1 of 2023. You'll notice that's a theme in most of our exemptions, that you must own and occupy that property January 1 of the tax year, which is 2023. So definitely something you want to pay attention to. Let's go to the next slide. Veterans with disability exemption. This is my favorite. Oops, sorry, I went ahead. I apologize. This is my favorite exemption because I have a lot of veterans in my family. So salute to everyone who has given their time. Thank you for your service. But there's some policy changes here, so let's just jump right in. So a non-remarried surviving spouse of a disabled veteran who has had service-connected disability certified by the VA must have been a resident of Illinois from the time of the veteran's death through the taxable year. So what does that mean? That means if me and my wife are married, but she lives in Florida and I live in Cook County, when I pass away, she cannot then move to Cook County and say, hey, I want to take advantage of this exemption. That's not how it works. She must have already been here, already been a resident of Cook County to make this happen. So also going forward, each veteran has what's called an eligibility letter. This has specific terminology on it that we are going to consider going forward to make it so that you don't have to apply for these exemptions again. For example, a veteran who is deemed permanently or totally disabled and has a 100% disabled rating per the VA will automatically be renewed going forward, assuming they apply on time for the exemption. That means if you are permanently disabled and your actual eligibility letter says you are permanently disabled or 100% disabled or totally disabled, you just have to submit that one more time, and then it will put you on the right track to have your exemption automatically renewed going forward. If you're thinking, hey, I'm a veteran, I'm disabled, but I'm not sure what that letter actually looks like, here's what it looks like. So we blacked out, redacted some information on here because this is a real application, a real eligibility letter, sorry. But at the very bottom, you'll see the percentage, and then you'll see if they're permanently disabled or not. Let's go next. Oh, I see Stella Black in the comment. Hi, Miss Stella. Haven't seen you in a while. All right, let's go to what's next. The Veterans with Disability Exemption. Here are the requirements to see if you are eligible or not. So first, you must be an Illinois resident who served as a member of the United States Armed Forces on active duty, state active duty, a member of the Illinois National Guard, U.S. Reserve Forces, and must have been honorably discharged. You must have a disability rate of 30% or greater. There are different tiers. So 30 to 49% is X removed off your tax bill. If you're 50 to 69%, that's X removed off your tax bill. And if you are 70 to 100%, you don't pay property taxes at all as long as your home is not worth more than $800,000. So I know it's a lot of math, ladies and gentlemen. All you gotta do is submit the application to our office. We will go ahead and figure out the math for this for you on your behalf. We'll then share that information with you and let you know what you actually qualify for. So again, I love this exemption because I have a lot of veterans in my family, and this absolutely helps them. So I'm super, super grateful for it. All right, let's go to the next one. What is happening with my computer? I apologize, guys. The connectivity of my internet is not doing very well. Here is some more policy changes for the disabled veterans exemption. If you have a multi-unit apartment building, your exemption will be then prorated for your unit only. So what the heck does that even mean? For example, if I am a disabled veteran and I own a 6-building apartment, a 6-apartment building or a 6-unit building, and I'm living in one of those, I cannot get the exemption for the entire property, only my specific unit. So I hope that clears up any miscommunication or misinformation that has been spreading out in the masses. We're going to go to the next exemption if my computer decides to work. Thank you. The returning veterans exemption. This is a cool and unique exemption because it's kind of like a 2-year deal. It's for the year you return and for 1 year later. I really like it because it kind of, I don't know, it's just special. It's a 2-for-1, right? So in order to qualify, that's gonna pull up right now. Thank you. You must be an Illinois resident who has served as a member of the U.S. Armed Forces, National Guard, or the Reserves. You must be returning from active duty in an armed conflict involving the United States of America. You must have owned and occupied that property January 1, 2023. Again, there goes that year. That date, January 1, 2023. You're going to hear that almost all night, ladies and gentlemen. And that's because a lot of our exemptions, you kind of need that to make sure you qualify for the exemptions. One of the requirements for a lot of these exemptions. Next is the long-time exemption. Listen, this is a unique exemption because you have to own and occupy your property for 10 consecutive years. So, assuming you're trying to apply for it this year, you must have owned and occupied your property January 1 of 2013 all the way through January 1 of 2023. you cannot make more than 100,000 as a total household income, and your equalized assessed value must have increased significantly depending on which township you actually live in. So there's an actual math equation that our office has to do, has to perform. So if you think you qualify, here's the good news. Our office will already do that math for you and send you an application in the mail. You should be getting that kind of early spring of 2024. If you do not receive an application from our office, chances are you don't qualify. However, I would love to sit here and tell you that we get it right 1000% of the time. That is not the case. So I'm going to show you in a couple more slides how to actually apply for one if you believe you qualify. Actually, forget all that. What you can do is inbox us directly, right? Send us a DM if you're on Instagram. Send us a message if you're on inboxes, if you're on Facebook. Post a you're on YouTube, and we can get that information from you directly. Actually, I want to give a shout out to our civic engagement team. They're in the background right now. Can one of you all drop the general contact link in the comment section for those who want to email us directly? That would be awesome, so that they don't have to go through any of the nonsense. They can just click that link and send us emails directly with their personal information, so they don't have to do it here on the comment section. Next is our last exemption, is the home improvement exemption. Now, this is for anyone who does up to $75,000 worth of improvements on their property. So the best way to go about this is if your home is worth $100,000 and you do up to $75,000 worth of improvements, your home is now worth $175,000. But with our office, you are automatically enrolled into the home improvement exemption, assuming your permits are done correctly and our office does our due diligence. And you are, instead of having that $75,000 added to your value, you are frozen, right? So it is not a taxable amount until 4 years have passed. However, anything greater than $75,000, so let's say $76,000, you are responsible for that extra $1,000. And this exemption will be automatically renewed because our office will automatically renew it for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to kind of shift the conversation to how do we file exemptions. Once my computer catches up to my mouth, then we'll be able to proceed. Let's go. Come on. I believe in you. Awesome. So here's how you can apply online for your exemption. You go to cookcountyassessor.com. That link is in the comment section right now. And you will click on the word exemptions. From there, and we're going to go step by step, ladies and gentlemen. So bear with me as the internet is just acting up today. I apologize. Let's go. So from here, you would then click on apply online or click a specific language that you might need. So Spanish, Polish, Chinese, or English. Go ahead and click on apply online. And then from there, you'll be taken to the very next step. And while we're figuring all this out, ladies and gentlemen, also, if you have any other questions, please go ahead and throw them into the chat section or the comments section here, because we're going to do a Q&A right after this. But in order to begin your application, you must click on begin filing. Once you click on begin filing, let's go. It's going to be one of those days. You go ahead and log in. Now, most of you all will already have a login, and chances are the moment you start typing in your email, it will auto fill for you. So just go ahead and do that. But if you are brand new and it's your first time, just go ahead and click right here where it says create an account. Once you do that, go ahead and log in. All right. Once you log in, what is happening today? Once you log in, you're going to click on begin filing. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. My computer's playing games. It's trying to be funny, but we're not. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. So boom, from here, here's where you start. So you're going to go ahead and put in your PIN number. Once you put in your PIN number, you're going to click the word search. Once you click the word search, your information is going to auto-populate below. Once it auto-populates below, 9 times out of 10 is going to have your name and your address and your PIN number. However, if you have a property or one of those properties that has been owned by multiple people, then you might just have to scroll through a couple different names so that you can find your own. But once you do that, and my computer does what I needed to do, click on Start Filing. Once you click on Start Filing, you're going to be brought to this very next slide, or sorry, very next portion of the application. Let's go. So now pay very close attention. Anywhere you see a red star or a red asterisk or a checkbox, you must complete that task. If you're trying to go forward in the process and have not completed the task, a box will appear that says, there's a mistake. Do you want to fix it now or fix it later? That's how you know if you're doing it correctly or incorrectly. If you're doing it correctly, you'll just smoothly go forward. So here, you just want to put in your PIN number and go ahead and tackle every single asterisk you see here, every single red star that you see here. And all you're going to do is answer the question. Very simple, right? So for me, does this property have more than one PIN? No. Did you own and occupy this property January 1? Yes. Are you filing for the disabled veterans? No. Are you a veteran? No. Are you disabled? No. Were you born in 1958 or before? No. Right? So you're just going to answer the questions. Very simple. No trick. Then you would click on Next. Sorry. Once you click on Next, and your computer has better internet than mine, you're going to be brought to the additional PIN section. Here, this is only for taxpayers that have more than one PIN number for the same property. So what does that actually mean? That means your property is split in half or split in third or like a quarter or however you want to do it, and your one property has more than one PIN number. If that's you, just go ahead and give us that information. Otherwise, just click No and scroll all the way down to the bottom and click Next, which we're going to show you right now once the computer changes. Let's go. So you're going to click Next. Once you click Next, nobody knows, nobody knows. You're going to click Next. And then here, again, anywhere you see a checkbox, you have to complete that task. So by clicking this checkbox, I affirm that neither I nor my spouse, if any, have applied for the homeowner's exemption on any other property. So again, this is just another reminder that for anyone who is applying for an exemption, you cannot receive multiple exemptions on multiple different properties. You can only get it on the property you own and occupy. That's why on here, you'll notice that a homeowner exemption is checked. But if I did apply for senior, then senior would be checked. Senior freeze would be checked. Whatever exemption I'm applying for would be checked. But for right now, we're just doing the homeowner's exemption, and you see that it's checked at the very top. Then you would click Next. Miguel, I see your comment. I have ADHD. I apologize. So my brain's everywhere. But I see your comment. We're going to answer that. I promise. Here, again, you see a red asterisk. We just need to know who you are. So once you click on the drop-down menu, you're going to click Taxpayer Owner. Once you do that, you're going to click Next. After you click Next, you're going to be brought here. And you're going to do the same thing. If you look right here where it says Taxpayer Owner Description, select one. You're going to click Taxpayer Owner. And then all this information will then auto-populate for you. It's just sensitive information, so I have it blacked out. And then just let us know, how do you want to talk to us? Do you want to send us a text? Do you want us to send you a text message? Do you want us to call you, send you an email? What's your preferred language? Go ahead and do all that information, fill all that information out, and then click Next. Once you click Next, you're going to be sent to the applicant details. Sorry, I apologize. And from here, you're just going to be told what we need. So for every exemption, we do need some type of something submitted. Some type of additional documentation. So it could be a valid driver's license or state ID, a photo ID. It could be a eligibility letter. It could be a lease or a set of closing documentations, or it could be a sales analysis or an appraisal, whatever you want to. I'm sorry, not appraisal, wrong place. Those are for appeals, but definitely an ID. So here's just letting you know, hey guys, before you continue, you're going to need this information. So then you would just click Next. And then you have to fill out an occupancy affidavit. Now, this is probably the most time-consuming part of the application, But there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, only 9 sections that you have to fill out. And we're already on the 7th one. So here, just fill out the information. Taxpayer name, phone number, address, taxpayer name, when you actually bought your home. Now, we don't need the exact date of when you bought your home, but we need the year, right? So if you bought it sometime in 2012, we do not need to know the exact date. However, we do need the year. So you would just put in whatever year, whatever date you want, January 1 of 2012, whatever it is, right? But for the next dates right here where it says from date to dates, that has to be the date you are applying. So you can't write the word current. You can't write the word today. I just did that there to show you what date you should pick. You should pick whatever date you are on, and that's in this little drop-down menu here. Go ahead and fill this information out again, and this date and the bottom date should match. They should be the exact same thing. Once you do that, you're going to click on the word next, and by clicking on next, you're going to be sent to the attachment section. Here is where you submit additional documentation. So here is where you would submit your driver's license, your state ID. Here is where you would submit your, I don't know, your eligibility letter, like whatever you want to submit on behalf of your exemption, whatever you need. This is where you would submit it at. And for those who, let's say you have not updated your driver's license yet. Well, if you don't have something from list A, which is a driver's license, City of Chicago ID, or a matricula, then you have to have something from list B and C. And list B and C are attached there, and they're also here when you are submitting your application as well, so for you to read and look. So please, well, I didn't update my driver's license yet because I just moved here and I don't have to yet. What do I? Answer is right here. You need something from list B and list C. Once you do that, you're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and at the very bottom, you're going to click next. So once we do that and our computer catches up to us, you're going to click next. I already said that. And if you notice, auto saving is a thing. I know we get this question a lot. I submitted my application and I went to, or I'm filling out my application and I went to check and now it's gone. You guys deleted it. Negative. This auto saves. So if you did in fact do it, it would have been saved. If it was not saved, you probably didn't do it. So here is where you would submit your application. We need your name, your address, your email, and then click submit. Up to here, you can stop, you can pause, you can edit your application. But once you click submit, you're going to get this sign that pops up right in front of your computer. It's going to say, are you sure you want to submit this filing? Even up to here, you can stop, you can pause, you can edit. But if you click yes, then you're going to get a confirmation page. Ladies and gentlemen, this is question number 1 that we get every single day. Hey guys, I submitted my application, but I did not receive a confirmation number. Here it is. So it's going to say confirmation. It's going to say thank you. It's going to say your request has been successfully submitted. And you'll have a filing ID number where it says filing ID. Print this out, screenshot this, take a picture, whatever you need, write it down, because this is how we are going to find your application. Once you contact us and say, hey, what's the status of my application? We're going to say, awesome, what's your filing ID number? However, you can also just log back in yourself, and up here where it says my filings, you can just click there and you can have that information too. Here is what a second installment tax bill looks like. It is going to be yellow. Yellow is where your discounts will be listed at. So if you see over here in the red, we kind of blew up this portion for you. And it has your homeowner, your senior freeze, your disabled person, disabled veteran. All of your exemptions will be listed here. This is where you would go ahead and check if that, if you did in fact receive your discounts or not. But once you are done here, you can kind of see where your exemptions are. If for whatever reason you may have missed an exemption, which I'm looking at the comments, we have a couple of you all right now that are asking that question, you would want to file a certificate of error. As of right now, we can go 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019, and 2018. We can do that as of right now, but I promise you 2018 is going to be changing very, very soon. So please, if you need to file a certificate of error, do that as soon as humanly possible. That way, we can make sure you get the exemptions you qualify for or you may have missed in the past, and you will get a refund from the Cook County Treasurer's Office, not our office. If you want to connect with us directly, please give us a call at 312-443-7550. If you want to connect with us on social media, we are socially active. Ladies and gentlemen, contact us on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. You can write us however you want. You can scan this QR code with your phone. It will open our Linktree account, and from there you can communicate with us as well. Or you can make an appointment at our downtown location, 118 North Clark, at our Markham Courthouse location, 16501 South Kedzie Avenue, and our Skokie location, 5600 West Old Orchard Road, room 149. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done with the internet. We're done with this presentation not complying. We're done with it staggering and getting all choppy and glitchy. We're on to these questions now. This is my favorite part. So let me close this out very quickly. And then let's get into these questions. Let's go. I want to see. Kathleen, YouTube comment worth 20 points says, will veterans with 100% total and permanent disability automatically roll over this year if they have already, this year if they already have that exemption? The answer should be yes, but that's only assuming they applied on time. If there was a certificate of error, I would highly recommend that you apply again. That way you can make sure. But if you applied on time, absolutely. Thank you for being with us here tonight, Kathleen. I appreciate your time. Let's see what else we got here. I see Miguel says, for the senior assessment freeze, how do I determine household income? Is it the same as the adjusted gross income on my federal tax form? Yes, it is. And if you take that form and our senior freeze application and put them next to each other, the income verification portion is almost identical to that as well. So just move it over. Move over your figures. Very simple. Thank you for being with us here tonight, Miguel. I really appreciate it. All right, these are all YouTube comments too. Let's go. What's next? Peggy says, when can I get the application for the 2023 disability exemption? So those applications have been sent out already. They're in the mail. But if this is the first time you are applying, just go to our website, cookcountyassessor.com/exemptions, and you'll be taken straight there. From there, you just click your application, apply online, or for you specifically, because it's a disabled person's exemption, you would print off that P-tax form, take it to your doctor, and then take a picture of it on your iPhone or your something, or scan it in, or however you want to get it digital, and just submit that application. Thank you so much, Peggy. What else do we got? All right, I'm a veteran. I bought my home in February 2023. First of all, thank you for your service. Can I submit my application? I tried submitting today, but received an error message because I didn't live in the home January 1st. Great question. So the disabled veterans exemption is prorated. So to get the, I'm assuming you're 100% or 70 or greater, right? But whatever, it doesn't matter. But in order to receive the discount, it is prorated. So January 1, you get the discount. February 1, you get a little bit of the discount. March 1st, you get a little bit. June 1st, a little bit. October, so it's prorated depending on when you apply. So go ahead and submit. I would try again, maybe clear your cache out, maybe turn off your computer, start it over again. Go ahead and do that. What else do we got? All right, Miss Shannon, for the homeowner's exemption, if I purchased my property in May of 2023, I was told I still qualify for the exemption, but for the question, have you lived there? If I put no, it removes the homeowner's exemption from my qualification. Okay, so great question. So if the law actually states that the property must be owner occupied January 1 of 2023. So here's the question, Shannon. Did you buy it off of someone that owned and occupied it January 1, 2023? If the answer is yes, then you can absolutely still apply. You just have to submit your closing documentation as well. I would do that in person, though. Personally, I would do it in person. I know you don't want to. I know it's a hassle. I know that it's, that's not the move, but it is if you want the discount. If your property was not owner occupied January 1 of 2023, then unfortunately you do not qualify until next year. Hope that makes sense, and I hope that helps you. Let's go to the next question, ladies and gentlemen. I love these. What's happening? What's happening? Peggy says, my husband was in the AF with service connected honorable discharge with 100% disability, but receives pensions from the Air Force, not the VA. That doesn't mean anything. So all you have to do is submit your documentation, right? So your DD, your eligibility letter, your honorable discharge letter, and your DD 214 showing that you were honorably discharged, and submit that information and just wait for the exemption. Assuming you owned and occupied January 1 of 2023 to get the full exemption, but you already heard me say that. What's next? Howard. I have received a long-time homeowner's application for a few years, qualified and completed, but for some reason, no exemption. What gives? So if you look at this is not your fault, but if you look at your second installment tax bill, you won't actually see a dollar amount for the long-time homeowners exemption because the treasurer's office doesn't design it that way, right? So what will happen is you'll see homeowner. To the right of that, you'll see important messages. Underneath that, you'll see long-time exemption, but there is no dollar amount. So what you want to do is look at your homeowner's exemption. To qualify or to figure out what your homeowner's exemption is, it's 10,000 times the tax rate. So you just look at your tax rate, add a 0 to that. That's where you get your dollar amount. Whatever is greater than that is your actual long-time savings, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, just contact us directly. We can tell you what your savings is. I'm sorry that it's not clear on that second installment tax bill. What else do we have? Belinda says, when can we file? If property is in trust, what document will you need to submit? Great question. So you can file now. That's why we're doing this exemption workshop, right? That's why we're doing this Facebook Live. But if you have a trust, then I'm assuming you are the one applying, Ms. Belinda. You have to be named as one of the trustees in that document. You have to submit that document into our office with proof, with a valid driver's license or state ID. I would recommend you do that in person. That's just my personal preference when it comes to things like this. But yeah, you can absolutely do it. What else do we got? Let's keep them coming. Let's keep them coming. If we have 2 properties, can we apply for the second one? Great question. The answer is no. You can only apply for one. Please don't be that person. Not saying you are. Just don't be that person, because you will get caught. You will be back taxed. There will be penalties and interest, and I don't want that for you. You're a Cubs fan. I want you to be happy. I want you to be great, right? So let's not do that. What's next? Nobody knows nobody. Thank you, Miss Shannon. Even though it will show up in the second installment this year, should I go ahead and complete the application now? If I remember your question, you were saying you did not own it January 1, 2023. But if it was owner occupied, go ahead and fill that information out. Go ahead and submit your closing documentation showing that someone did own it January 1st. And yeah, it'll be on your second installment application. I'm sorry, your second installment tax bill for sure. What about negative money losses on investment? Listen, I am not able to give you legal counsel. I am not an auditor. I'm not an accountant. I'm not going to give you any type of, I can't do that for you. You got to do that math, right? So just look at your tax information. Go ahead and look at your documentation. And you want to make sure that your information is accurate. So in the event that you do get audited randomly, by the way, you can support the documentation. Very simple. But there is a space for negative and losses. So you can definitely put that information in there. I can't give you legal counsel, man. So hope that makes sense, Miguel. What's next? Ms. Rosemary, can I apply for senior if I co-own with my daughter? As long as you are on the property and you owned and occupied in January, and you were born in 1958 or before, you can absolutely apply for this, as long as you own and occupy the property. So it has nothing to do with your daughter. Now, senior freeze, that's a totally different conversation because that is income-based. But just for the senior, doesn't matter. What else we got? Is that it? Did we answer everything? No. No me digas. Oh, we have one more. Steph Max says, for Cook County, why hasn't the total household income gone up at least $100K per household instead of remaining at total household income of 65? That's a great question. So we do have an exemption that has an income cap of 100,000. That's the long-time homeowners exemption. For the senior freeze, it's capped at 65. I've been doing this since 2011. So at first it was 45, then it was 55, and it was recently in 2017 increased to 65. So that's something you have to contact your state legislation about. They are who create this information, who decide and vote on these numbers. Our office has zero to do with that. That's not true. But we can't change the law. But you guys can definitely contact your elected official and ask them to change the law for sure. Nobody knows nobody. What else we got here? I think we've answered everybody's question. I'm going to give it a couple more seconds because my computer's lagging. But thank you so much for being here. Literally, you could be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me today. It's dinner time. You could be eating. You might be eating. I don't know, but I'm starving. And the food smells good. So I'm going to go downstairs. Oh, we have one more for Howard. What if the building square footage listed with the city does not match the actual square footage? How does that get rectified or changed? You have to file an appeal, which is not what we're talking about today. But once your township is open for appeals, you would file an appeal. You would do a property description error. Go ahead and say my square footage, I'm just making these numbers up, is 1,200 instead of 2,200 that your office says it is. I would like this corrected, please. Then you would ask for a field check. Someone would actually come out, redraw, and remeasure your property. And then if you are in fact correct, we'll go ahead and fix that for you. And if we were incorrect for multiple years, you'll get a refund. If we are correct, then there'll be no change. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being with me tonight. I really appreciate it. You could be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me. So you guys have a great night. Be safe, be wise, be blessed. And thank you guys so much.